It's Tuesday and time to check out the vendors. Let's start with the Scholarium.
My accommodations.
First up, we have Bound Affix Script Savagery and Prophecy. Adds Savagery and Prophecy buffs increasing weapon and spell critical chance. Bound Focus Script Disease Damage. Adds disease damage. Bound Focus Script Generate Ultimate. Adds ultimate generation. And Bound Signature Script Leeching Thirst. Adds a heal for percentage of damage done. Time to head over to the Telvar Merchant. We are now in the Imperial Sewers. Let's see what our Telvar Merchant has. First up is Gold Coast treasure maps. These are super cheap on traders, but if you're curious, Gold Coast brings us Flanking Strategist, Hide of Morehouse, and Sithis' Touch, as well as a chance for one of 4 book furnishings if that character knows the eidetic memory of those 4 books. If you're not sure how that works, there's a link down below. Our scripts, we have Bound Affix Script Brutality and Sorcery, adds Brutality and Sorcery, buffs increasing weapon and spell damage. Bound Focus Script Immobilize, adds an immobilization effect. And Bound Signature Script Thief Swiftness, adds improvement to your mobility. I'm pretty excited about the Deadly Necklace and Ring this week. These are a pretty good set. And then next we have Fragment of the Wolffather. This is for the Roar Verdant Green skill style. This particular one drops from the Bankerai World Boss Lake Watch Tower. Remember, it's a guaranteed drop the first time you do it. So if you're able to kill the World Boss or grab a friend or whatever, you'll save yourself 5,000 Telvar just by going and doing the World Boss. Our leads this week, we have Braided Blessed Brambles. That one is for Stormweaver's Cavort and comes from the group event in the Auradon Public Dungeon, Toothmaw Gully. And then next we have Vitharn Crafted Bale. This is for the Saint and the Seducer mythic and drops from Dolmens. I don't think either one of these is too terribly difficult other than fighting RNG. And then we have Necklace and Ring of Shieldbreaker. Let's head over to the Infinite Archive Merchant. And finally, we are in Infinite Archive.
I had to use.
First up, we have Shadowfen Treasure Map. Again, this is super cheap at traders. I think you should just go get it there rather than spending 2,000 archival fortunes. But if you're curious, Shadowfen brings us Hatchling Shell, Robes of the Hist, and Swamp Raider, as well as a chance for leads for the Ancestral Nord Daggers or Shoulders. Next up, we have our scripts. Bound Affix Script Expedition adds Expedition, a buff increasing movement speed. Bound Affix Script Mangle adds Mangle, a debuff reducing max health. Bound Focus Script Multi-Target adds a multi-target hit. And Bound Signature Script Gladiator's Tenacity adds damage reduction. What I'm most excited about this week, I think, is probably Lady Thorn's Mask. This, of course, drops out of Castle Thorn during typically about a 4-day window where you're at the mercy of RNG, and your RNG is improved if you have the hard mode achievement. The hard mode in Castle Thorn is no joke, and it can be a little bit buggy too. We've had a couple bugs show up from time to time. So I think this one's definitely worth 15,000 archival fortunes. All right, let's skip our books for now. We have Companion Equipment Heavy Armor. I never recommend companion equipment. It's bound, you're at the mercy of RNG, and I think 5,000 archival fortunes is a little much considering those things. Next, we have Design Leowin Serving Pot Lobster Stew for 2,000 archival fortunes. The patterns are a relatively new inclusion since Update 45, and now that Update 45 has dropped on console, everybody should have these. This one on PCNA only retails for about 25 to 40k. It really depends on if you value 2,000 archival fortunes more than 25 to 40k gold. Kind of the same thing with Dark Elf Candle Votive Tray, although I really, really like this one. It does retail for about 20 to 25k gold on PCNA. So I don't know that these two are really worth it. Next we have Dwarven Theodolite Neck. This is part of the Dwarven Theodolite Pet. It's one of 7 pieces. They do drop relatively frequently now, and they're also really cheap at traders. On PCNA, TTC suggested is $469 to $587. So it'd be really cheap to put this pet together. But if you wanted to farm it, it comes out of Nicheleftink Public Dungeon in Vardenfell. I don't think this is worth 3,000 archival fortunes, though. Next up, Erroneous Archive Map. Consume 20 Erroneous Archive Maps to unlock the Walk Through the Mirror Maze achievement and the Shattered Mirror Maze body marks. Here are the Shattered Mirror Maze body marks. Considering they're 3,000 archival fortunes apiece and you need 20 of them, I do think this is pretty spendy when you are guaranteed to eventually get a drop if you do enough of the Infinite Archive dailies. All right, Fragment of the Crucible. This is also for Roar Verdant Green skill style, just like the one we saw in Imperial Sewers. However, this one comes from the final boss of Blessed Crucible, which is a dungeon. I think this one's a little bit more difficult to get, but it is guaranteed the first time you go through. So if you can get a group together, or if you can tolerate pugging it, this one is pretty easy to get. All right, our leads. We have Druidic Music Box Stones. This is for the Music Box Blessings of Stone Furnishing. This one drops from Galen Daily Reward Coffers. This one's going to be a little bit more time consuming to get, and I love my music boxes. And then remember, if you complete your codex, that means you get 3 of the music boxes. You can then buy that furnishing as often as you want from the achievement vendor for gold. So I do think it's worth getting 3 of these and any other furnishings that you might be interested in using in multiple builds or in quantity. So this one might be worth it. Next up, lead Silverweave Cord. This is one of 5 pieces of the Harpooner's Wading Kilt. This one drops from those Covenant mobs in Balfoyen. There aren't that many of the Covenant mobs, but it's a pretty easy one. So I was just discussing with Stream, is it worth your time to do something easy like killing the Covenant guards, or to do something maybe a little bit more interesting like running Infinite Archive? Either way, it's time. So that is up to you. And then we have Praxis Merkmeyer Bookcase Grand. I'm much more excited about this pattern. It retails for quite a bit more, at least on PCNA, at $159 to $195. There's only 2 listings right now. So I think this one out of the 3 is probably worth the most. Let me know, though, in the comments if it's different on your server. Okay, let's go back to our books. We have Brave Little Scrib and the River Troll. This one drops in Infinite Archive, but the eidetic memory is in Telvanni Peninsula. It's in the Fighters Guild, which I thought was cute. A children's book in the Fighters Guild. Do with that what you will. And then Plague Concoctor's Instructions. This one also drops out of Infinite Archive, but the book you need for the eidetic memory is in a Bastion Mimic in the Plague Wing, just on the floor there. So not too terribly difficult to get if you can find friends to help you out with the Bastion Mimic. Or as always, on PC, I have a guild hall on both PCNA and EU, and I will put this book in the greenhouse in either one. It's on house tours and it's open to anybody. All right. Let's run some Infinite Archive and see what gear is dropping this week. All right, we just ran a couple arcs of Infinite Archive, and this week we have gear dropping from Deshawn. That includes Mother's Sorrow, Night Mother's Embrace, and Plague Doctor, and also from Galen, which includes Back Alley Gourmand, Bastion of the Droif, and Phoenix Moth Thurge. That's going to do it for this week. We'll see you in the next one.